my name is Phoebe. He invited me to his birthday party after dumping me via text. I showed up with his ex, smiling, and we left hand in hand. I remember the day it all started like it was etched into my skin. It was one of those lazy Sunday mornings in early spring, the kind where the sunlight filters through the blinds in soft, golden stripes across the hardwood floor of my tiny apartment. I was 28, working as a graphic designer for a small marketing firm in Seattle, the type of job that paid just enough to cover rent and the occasional splurge on artisanal coffee. My life wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. Predictable, comfortable, like slipping into a well-worn sweater. I'd wake up to the hum of the city outside, brew a pot of French press, and sketch ideas on my tablet while listening to indie playlists that made me feel alive. That's when I met Alex. He was at a mutual friend's rooftop barbecue, the air thick with the smell of grilled burgers and laughter echoing off the skyline. He had this easy charm, tall, with messy dark hair that always looked like he'd just run his fingers through it, and eyes that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. He worked in tech, something vague about app development, but he talked about it with such passion that it didn't matter. We hit it off over shared stories of bad first dates and our mutual love for hiking in the Cascades. By the end of the night, we were exchanging numbers, and I felt that spark, the kind that makes your stomach flip in the best way. Our relationship unfolded like a montage from a rom-com. Weekend getaways to the coast, where we'd walk barefoot on the sand, waves crashing like applause. Late-night talks on my balcony, wrapped in blankets, sharing dreams about the future. He introduced me to his circle of friends, loud, fun people who threw impromptu game nights and brunches. I fit right in, or at least I thought I did. Alex would hold my hand under the table, his thumb tracing circles on my skin, and I'd think, this is it. This is what stability feels like. My friends teased me about how smitten I was, but I didn't care. For the first time in years, after a string of flaky guys and dead-end flings, I felt seen. But looking back, there were cracks. Little things I brushed off, like how he'd cancel plans last minute for work emergencies that never quite added up, or the way his phone would buzz at odd hours, screen face down on the nightstand. I told myself it was nothing, that I was just being paranoid from past heartbreaks. My last serious relationship had ended in college when my boyfriend ghosted me after graduation, leaving me to piece together my confidence like shattered glass. I didn't want to be that girl again, the one who overanalyzed every text. So I leaned in, planned surprise picnics in the park with his favorite sandwiches, and even helped him redesign his apartment's living room with thrifted finds that made it feel like home. We'd been together for 8 months when things started to feel off. He'd pull away during conversations, his laughs forced, like he was performing. I'd catch him staring out the window during dinner, lost in thought. "What's wrong?" I'd ask, my voice soft, reaching for his hand. "Nothing, babe. Just tired," he'd reply, squeezing back but not meeting my eyes. I tried to shake it off, focusing on the good moments. Like the time we drove to Mount Rainier at dawn, the mist rising off the trails as we hiked hand in hand, our breaths sensing in the crisp air. At the summit, he kissed me, the world sprawling below us, and whispered, "You're my adventure." I held on to that, replaying it in my mind like a favorite song. My days blurred into a routine. Mornings at the coffee shop down the block, where the barista knew my order, a lavender latte with oat milk. Afternoons buried in client mock-ups. Evenings cooking pasta while waiting for Alex to text that he was on his way. I had a close, knit group of friends from work and college, the kind who'd show up with wine and bad movies on tough days. My roommate, Mia, was my rock. We'd met in art school and shared everything from secrets to closet space. Life felt full, even if it wasn't perfect. I wasn't the type to chase drama. I craved peace, the quiet joy of building something real. Then came the invitation. It popped up in my email one afternoon while I was at my desk, the office buzzing with keyboards and muffled calls. "Alexa's 30th birthday bash!" It read with a cheesy graphic of balloons and cake. My heart skipped. We hadn't talked about it much, but I'd assumed I'd be there, planning it even. I scrolled down venue at a trendy rooftop bar downtown, RSVP by the end of the week. But something felt wrong. We hadn't spoken in days, not since our last date where he'd been distant, checking his watch every few minutes. I texted him, "Hey, got the invite! Can't wait! What should I wear?" No response. Hours ticked by, my phone silent on the desk like a betrayal waiting to happen. That night, as I paced my apartment, rain pattering against the windows like impatient fingers, my phone finally lit up. Not a call, just a text. "Phoebe, I think we should end things." "It's not you, it's me. Sorry." My world tilted. I stared at the screen, the words blurring through hot tears. End things. Via text. After everything, the hikes, the laughs, the way I'd opened up about my fears of abandonment. I sank onto the couch, Mia rushing over with a blanket and questions I couldn't answer. The rain intensified, drumming on the glass like my heartbeat, chaotic and unrelenting. How could he invite me to his party and then dump me like I was nothing? It didn't make sense. Or maybe it did, in the cruelest way. The next few days were a fog. I called in sick to work, curled up in bed with the curtains drawn, replaying every moment. Why? Was there someone else? Friends texted support, but it felt hollow. Then, digging through old messages, I found her, Lily, his ex from years ago. I'd seen her name pop up once or twice, dismissed as just a friend. But now, curiosity burned. I scrolled her socials, beautiful, with long auburn hair and a smile that lit up photos. They dated for 2 years, ended messily from what Alex had vaguely shared. What if? The thought flickered, but I pushed it down. Revenge wasn't my style. Or was it? Part of me wanted to scream, to show up and confront him. But as the hurt solidified into something sharper, like glass under skin, I realized I needed more. I needed him to feel the sting, to see what he'd lost. That's when the plan started forming, quiet at first, like a whisper in the back of my mind. The betrayal hit harder than I expected, unraveling me thread by thread. After that text, I didn't sleep for 2 nights, my mind racing through memories like a film on fast forward. The way he'd laugh at my jokes, head thrown back, or how he'd surprise me with flowers from the market, stems still damp with morning dew. All of it, gone in a digital blink. I blocked his number, but the invite lingered in my inbox, a taunt. Why send it if he was ending us? Was it a mistake, or some twisted game? Mia found me on the 3rd day, staring at my laptop, tears streaking my face. "Phoebe, talk to me," she said, sitting on the edge of my bed, her voice gentle like she was approaching a wounded animal. "I don't know what to do," I whispered, my throat raw. He just texted it, like I was a subscription he could cancel. She hugged me, her perfume a familiar comfort, vanilla and warmth. "He's an asshole. You deserve better," but her words bounced off me. Better. I wanted justice, or at least closure. Work became a distraction. I'd sit at my desk, sketching logos that looked like broken hearts, my boss shooting concerned glances. "Everything okay?" she'd ask during check-ins. "Yeah, just personal stuff," I'd mumble, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Inside, anger simmered, mixing with the hurt until it was a potent brew. I started piecing it together, mutual friends' posts showing Alex out with a new crowd, laughs that seemed too easy. Then, a tagged photo, him at a bar, arm around a woman I didn't recognize. But wait, zoom in, Lily. No, someone else. My stomach dropped. Was he cheating? I reached out to a friend in his circle, casual, like, "Hey, heard about Alex's party." "What's the vibe?" Her response, "Oh, it's gonna be epic." He's excited, especially since Lily's coming back to town. Lily, his ex, the one he'd called toxic, but never elaborated on. I remembered him mentioning her once, over wine. She was intense, you know, always pushing for more. But his eyes had lingered too long on the memory. Curiosity turned to obsession. I found her profile again, sent a message. "Hey, this is awkward, but I'm Alex's ex. Well, recent ex. Can we talk?" She replied within hours, "Phoebe, yeah, I've heard about you." Coffee. We met at a quiet cafe near the waterfront, the kind with exposed brick and the scent of fresh pastries. Lily arrived in a flowy dress, her hair catching the light like autumn leaves. She looked composed, but her eyes held a shadow I recognized. Old pain. "So, he dumped you via text too," she said after we ordered, her voice laced with bitter amusement. My jaw dropped. "Two. He did that to you." She nodded, stirring her lats slowly. 2 years together, and poof. Text breakup, then invited me to his going-away party like nothing happened. Said it was closure. Bullshit. He likes the drama, the control. We talked for hours, the waves lapping outside like a metronome to our shared stories. How he'd make you feel like the center of his world, then pull the rug out. The gaslighting, the subtle put-downs masked as jokes. "You're too sensitive," he'd say when I'd question his flackiness. Lily had stories. Him flirting with others at parties, blaming her jealousy. By the end, we were laughing through tears, bonded by the wreckage. "I'm not going to his party," I said, but even as the words left my mouth, they felt wrong. Lily tilted her head. "Why not? Make him squirm." The idea sparked. Not confrontation, something subtler, a mirror to his cruelty. Show up poised, with the one person who knew his games better than anyone. Let him see us united, unbreakable. It wasn't about violence or scenes. It was about reclaiming power, emotional checkmate. As we parted, hugging on the sidewalk with the city bustling around us, she smiled. "Text me if you change your mind." I did. That night, alone in my apartment, the streetlights casting long shadows across the walls, I unblocked him, just to RSVP yes. The plan coalesced, we'd arrived together, smiles in place, let the whispers do the work. No yelling, just presence. He'd invited me, after all. Time to RSVP in style. The build-up was meticulous, like crafting a design from scratch. I spent the next week preparing, not just outfits, but my mindset. Mornings, I'd journal my feelings, turning rage into resolve. The pages filled with scribbled affirmations like, "You are not broken." Afternoons at work, I'd sneak in deep breaths during meetings, visualizing the party, the rooftop lights twinkling like stars, music pulsing, and Alex's face when he saw us. Lily and I texted constantly, plotting like old friends. "What if we match outfits?" she suggested. Subtle, like twins in his nightmare. We settled on elegant black dresses. Mine a sleek midi with a low back, hers flowing with lace details. Nothing flashy, just confident. We'd practice lines in voice notes. "Happy birthday, Alex," delivered with cool detachment. But doubts crept in. One evening, walking home through the drizzle, umbrella shielding me from the world, I wondered if it was worth it. Am I stooping to his level? The rain slicked the pavement, reflecting neon signs in puddles like shattered dreams. Maya caught me second, guessing over takeout. "Phoebe, he hurt you." "This isn't revenge, it's closure on your terms." "You're right," I said, nodding. It's poetic. We scouted the venue online. Panoramic views, string lights, a bar with signature cocktails. I'd arrive fashionably late, arm linked with Lily's, our laughter genuine from the bond we'd formed. No scenes, just mingle, let his friends see the solidarity. Whispers would spread his exes together. The social sting would linger longer than any shout. The night before, I couldn't sleep. I stood by my window, city lights blurring through unshed tears. Memories flashed Alex's hand in mine, now a ghost. But tomorrow, I'd rewrite the ending. Party night arrived, the air electric with anticipation. I met Lily outside her hotel, the sunset painting the sky in oranges and pinks. "You ready?" she asked, squeezing my hand. "As I'll ever be," I replied. Our reflections in the car window strong, united. We stepped into the elevator, mirrors multiplying us infinitely, a metaphor for the impact we'd make. The doors opened to the rooftop, music swelling, laughter floating like confetti, heads turned as we entered, smiles in place. Alex spotted us immediately, drink midway to his lips. His face paled, eyes widening. "Phoebe, Lily," he stammered, voice cracking. "Happy birthday," I said evenly, my heart pounding but voice steady. "Yeah, wouldn't miss it," Lily added, her tone laced with sweet venom. He fumbled. "I didn't expect." We didn't wait, gliding past to the bar. Friends murmured, glances darting. One approached. You two know each other? Old friends now, I replied with a wink. The night unfolded in slow motion, us chatting with his circle, sharing light anecdotes that subtly exposed his patterns without malice. Alex hovered, uncomfortable, his charm cracking like thin ice. By midnight, as fireworks lit the sky for his surprise, we slipped out hand in hand, leaving him with the echoes. In the cab home, rain starting again, tapping the roof like applause, I felt free. Not vengeful, but whole. He'd invited the chaos, we delivered the calm storm. And as the city lights faded behind us, I whispered to myself, some invitations are best answered with the truth you never saw coming.